I'm Jawauna Greene, and on this edition of MTA's Commuter Connections, a visit to the Maryland Historical Society for a first look at our region's past. We'll also look ahead to the Baltimore Grand Prix, and we've got your transit questions in our Ask the MTA segment, all here in MTA's Commuter Connections. Welcome to MTA's Commuter Connections. For this edition, we're on location at the Maryland Historical Society in Baltimore, the world's largest Maryland history museum and library where the history and remnants of Maryland's past are showcased and preserved for scholars, historians, and members of the touring public to see and enjoy. Maryland Historical Society President Bert Commuter joins with us now with a look at what you'll find here on a visit. Hi, Mr. Commuter. How are you?
Very nice to be here. Thank you.
It is nice to be here. It's wonderful. I mean, this hidden gem in plain sight.
That's
Who
right.
knew?
Only 2 blocks from the Washington Monument.
2 blocks, but
Yeah,
I think
that's
you guys
right.
have air conditioning, so it's much better than being out there in the heat. Now, how long has the Maryland Historical Society existed?
Well, it's been around for 167 years, so it has been around
You're
for
not
a
a
while.
teenager, not
no,
a teenager at
no,
all.
no, no. And it was started by a bunch of gentlemen in Baltimore who wanted to preserve the history of Maryland, and they started a library in particular, and they started acquiring artifacts right away. So over this last 167 years, we have become the attic of Maryland, just like the
But has
Smithsonian.
it always been here in Baltimore? I mean, I just don't remember that it was always based here. I would have thought Annapolis or someplace like that.
No, it's always been in Baltimore, and it was originally downtown, but after the Great Fire of 1904, which was
Wow.
a terrible fire,
Yeah.
they got very nervous about losing
So
all
it was
these
safer
things.
to have it here.
So they moved further out, and they moved into the Enoch Pratt House. And Enoch Pratt, the famous
As in the
man
Pratt
who
Library?
gave his name to the library, and he was a well-known philanthropist from the late 19th century, and his house is an absolutely beautiful part of the Mount Vernon district. And they moved there in 1919, and then they built the library the following year. So we've been here for almost 100 years.
That's pretty amazing. Now, if I'm talking about artifacts and things that I would find here, what should people know? What kind of documents and remnants are actually housed with the Maryland Historical Society?
Well, it's we're talking about 7 million documents, so
7 million? You're overwhelming me. 7
I know
million
it's a
documents.
major library, and we have hundreds of thousands of artifacts as well. But I can give you a little bit of a background on some of the things. I guess our premier item is the actual manuscript that Francis Scott Key wrote the night after the bombardment of Fort McHenry. He wrote the national anthem for the first time, and we actually have that document that he wrote that night in a tavern downtown. We have lots and lots of documents related to the beginning of Maryland. We actually have the patent of nobility that Lord Baltimore received from the King of England.
Wow.
And then it goes all the way up into the 20th century. And you just have enormous amounts of material. Now, as far as artifacts are concerned, we're concentrating right now on the Civil War.
So Civil War artifacts for the most part?
Yes,
Okay.
and a lot of them are ours. We also have some that are loaned, but we have big collections of costume, big collections of, not a huge collection of weapons, but some, and lots of little personal items that were associated with families over Maryland
So
history.
how do you get these things? I mean, you're telling me about things that are really rare finds. How do they come to end up here?
Well, almost all of them over the years have been donated by families and put on loan, permanent loan. But we have also, especially in the last 30 or 40 years, purchased things on the market when they were really valuable because we're trying to put together the best possible look at what Maryland was like in the past. So anything we can get that's relevant to the past of Maryland is very important to us.
Now, how many people would you say visit the museum? I mean, as I look at it, this is really a relevant thing for students, but on the average, how many visitors do you get per year?
Well, we get around 25 or 30,000, which is small.
But that's still a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, but we're doing things like this so we can get more people to come and visit these absolutely wonderful exhibits.
Well, I think local people need to visit. I mean, here's
Yeah.
the thing. I live right near here, and I had never been here before, so now I know, literally within walking or biking distance, this treasure is right in my backyard.
And right next door to the light rail.
Yes, the light rail, which is the best part.
Yes, exactly.
Now, how do you receive your funding? Because I tell you, to to look at this building, to think about the types of treasures you have here, and they're truly treasures. How do you receive your funding?
Well, we're a private nonprofit. So
Really?
over the years, of course, we've gotten a fair amount of money from government sources,
Right.
and we still get grants from various agencies in the public sector. But the great majority of our funding comes from the interest of individuals who really want to support Maryland history.
And they donate money, they support resources.
They do,
That's
and a very significant amount of money every year. And it's tough times for nonprofits these days.
It
and
is.
Everybody is scrambling, but we still have a strong base of support.
Now, how important is the Maryland Historical Society to this region? I mean, I think about this. You guys are the keepers of the knowledge.
That's
so
right.
how important is it for Maryland to have you?
Well, I think it's absolutely critical for a community to have its background, its history. I think
Yes.
we're one of the major sources for that.
Yeah.
And just like the Smithsonian for the United States, we're the source.
Well, if you
for
don't know
Maryland.
your history, you're doomed to repeat it, they say.
That's right. Yeah, we should teach that in schools, because every new generation has to learn all over again, don't they?
Well, you know, one of the things I know that they have annual competitions here in the state where children have to go and they talk about and do reflections on the past. So I know this is a wonderful resource for the region. But would you brought up something you said before about the Smithsonian is there for the nation. You guys being here for the state of Maryland.
That's right.
So that would mean that it isn't just Baltimore centric. This would be the Eastern Shore. This would be Western Maryland. You guys are a resource for every corner for the state of Maryland, I would say.
We have things from every corner of Maryland, and it's just very, very important, I think, from an educational point of view. We are an education institution,
Yes.
and we serve enormous amounts of school children every year, but everybody needs to participate in their history, because it's an important history. We're one of the earliest colonies and one of the early states, one of the original 13, and our exhibits right now are really focusing on that first 100 years, from 1776 to 1876. We have absolutely wonderful treasures, but we're also telling the story of how hard it was to get this country going, and how we had several
I would dare say
missteps.
our legislators now need to come here and visit this society and think about how hard it was. They talk about real struggle.
Exactly.
Now tell us real quick, what are the hours for the museum? People need to know about the hours and if there's a cost of admission to come and visit.
Well, we're open from Wednesday to Sunday from 10 to 5. The library is open Wednesday to Saturday, and only the museum is open on Sunday, and on Sunday it's open 12 to 5.
Now, is there a cost?
Yes, it's nominal, actually. We charge $6 as a general admission price.
Yeah, that's fine.
And it goes down from there. We have, of course, free for military, and we have a small fee for children, 3 and up.
And if people want to call and get information or book a group reservation, they can just call you up or visit your website, am I correct?
The website is a great place to go first, www.mdhs.org.
Okay.
But you can also call our general number, which is 410-685-3750.
Well, thank you so much for hosting and having us here today. And I can't wait to bring my family back to visit.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Coming up next, a look at the Baltimore Grand Prix. Stay with us.